Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. Looks like there's a few folks on the stream over here, so greetings all. We can just go back and look at the kid if we want for a little bit. He's just being too cute over there, right, kitty? You cute? Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Wanna come out? All right. He's over there looking at me. He's like, "What's going on? Look at this. Look at this guy. What's going on, man? What's going on, yo? What's going on? Yeah." All right, I guess he's gonna come over here. I'm not sure why I'm turning that on. All right. Oh, here you go. Yes. You all clean now? Yeah. Hello, everyone. How are you? All right. Well, we're just going to do a brief discussion here on developing a digital backup plan, and hopefully I didn't write any notes down because, yeah, I don't plan these Saturday streams. Just last minute, man. It's just kind of part of it. And it's been very nice taking Saturday mostly off. I don't mind doing a stream. I just don't necessarily want to do all the prep involved and stuff, so... but anyway, let's go ahead and jump on in here. We got a Wargaming Refuge is a digital backup plan, that thing in new cars that automatically parallel parks for you. Yes, indeed it is. Yes. That's the thing. Now, we're talking about other stuff. But yes, car technology is getting too scary. Mitchell Morrison, greetings from Phoenix. I bet Phoenix is pretty warm today. It's actually pretty hot here, too. I'm one of the few people that doesn't actually use air conditioning, but, you know, if you know how to do things right, then you generally don't need to turn on air conditioning. Now, of course, if you're out there in Phoenix, you might might need some. But, you know, out here, what you do is you keep your windows and stuff open at night, and then right in the morning, you close everything down and you shut the blinds, and it keeps things very nice for the most part. So, well, you can save on energy. I probably pay only maybe a third the electricity of anybody else in the apartment complex. It's kind of funny. He's up and moving around. All right. See if my system's working there. We only have 7 folks on. Is that right? Huh. It's weird. Maybe I should wait a little bit longer. Should I wait a little bit longer? Oh, there we go. We're up to 10. There we are. All right, well, let's go ahead and dive on in and talk about the digital backup plan. So pretty much what I wanted to talk about here is, as I've done before on these Saturday shows, just kind of reminisce on the old past, how things used to be, you know, in my day, you know. But in reality, if you think back over the years, are you more organized or less organized digitally now than you were then? And understand that 10 years ago, you know, a decade ago, we still did have a lot of digital stuff. Most of us 10 years ago may have had decent digital cameras. We might have started collections of MP3s and documents, maybe work documents, letters, things like that on computers. And ask yourself, were you more organized back then or are you more organized now? And I'd wager that most people were way more organized then than now. And the biggest culprit is, where is my phone? There you go. The biggest culprit is we do everything now on our phones. And with everything being done now on our phones, we have gotten completely disorganized. Remember when you'd snap photos with your digital camera and then take them off the computer and put them on your computer and they might get backed up? Well, now we're just like, oh, everything's backed up to the cloud. Or in some people it is and some people it isn't. But if you lose your device, how many times do you lose everything on it? And that's a good question. And regarding emails, do you have a backup of your actual emails or do you not? You know? Do you have good backups if you were to have a catastrophic data loss? If your house were to burn down, do you lose all your backups? What types of things do you have to back up? So these are all the types of questions you ask. So we're going to kind of start there with my framework. Is the first point is ask yourself, what types of systems do you have and what types of backups do you need? Now, my life a decade ago for computer technology was significantly simpler. You know, I was a decade ago, I was a college professor, and as a college professor, you know, I had a separate work office, and, you know, IT managed all that kind of stuff. I didn't have to really care much about it. Now, I did actually keep good backups of my own personal stuff. I had one desktop computer and I had one laptop computer. The one laptop computer, it was pretty much, I used that exclusively at work as well. I never really used my my office computer for anything in all actuality. The minimum things that I would have to have it for. I'm trying to think. I think even email I ran through my personal one, although it was also synced into the desktop in the office. But my personal office computer, I had on there, I didn't have a lot of the music collection. Now I have a digitalized copy of all of my music CDs. I didn't have that then. I did have a huge digital catalog of all my sermons and things. So back then, I basically had one computer, and then I would do backups of that one computer. And I didn't never do backups of like the operating system, whatever else. An operating system, Windows, Mac, Linux, easy to reinstall. The important part is, do you have your files? That's really the important part. And so then I only essentially had one computer that I needed backups. But then when I had left the college and started my own company, then I had a separate work computer, and then I had the personal computer, the desktop computer. But then that was kind of the start of the whole digital thing. Now, for a while, I pretty much only operated on two computers. I had my laptop, which was essentially my work computer. I had the desktop, which was essentially my personal computer. So nowadays, though, I've identified 3 different systems that I need to have backed up. Now, number one is I no longer really have a personal desktop computer in the same format that I had before. But what I do have is a backup computer. And I call that's designated my backup computer that runs Linux Mint Mate as the operating system, and that has a backup of everything that is like a personal file. So that has I don't keep any paper copies of anything around anymore. So that has all of the backups of the paper copies, which is all of my taxes, any letters. It also has all of my sermon collection is synced over there because I don't necessarily have CDs and stuff of all those. I just have those digitally. So the sermons are over there. The audio CDs are not. Any DVDs I might have are not. But except for the Christian sermons, the DVD Christian sermons are over there. The audio sermons are over there. It also keeps a backup of my photographs. Also has my contact lists, address backups, and pretty much any personal file I would have ever had all gets synced over there on that one computer. So that's one backup I have. The second I have is my work computer, which I've been slowly moving everything personal off of that. So that's the Windows 7 computer that is getting to be like, I think it's 8 or 9 years old now. So when that thing dies, well, the goal is that nothing personal gets done on that system. And so I have that, so essentially it becomes a backup for all the client files, and I do still have my accounting software over there. So that's kind of where the accounting software goes, and where everything else related to the business goes, but nothing else is on there. Now, for a long time, that kind of became the dumping ground because it was the most used computer. Especially, I went for about a year or two without a personal computer. And then now the Windows 8 computer I have would sort of take that role, but I don't think I've booted into it in 3 months at least. And I don't even think it boots anymore. I think there's something corrupted in the hard drive, and I'm just like, I have all the files off it. That's really all I care about. Maybe eventually I'll either grab and repurpose the hard drive, see if it still works, or just get the thing working again and utilize that as a secondary backup system. So that's kind of what another computer I have is the work computer, which is slowly becoming exclusively work files, client websites, client backups, any types of projects like that. So that's kind of the direction I'm moving there. And then the third I have is my NAS. So the NAS, network attached storage, which contains all of my music, all of my sermons, all of my photos, any videos I might have. It contains a working backup of anything that I'm currently running because I can easily access that from any computer on the network. So that is a third system. So most of you, I'd wager, don't have 3 different systems to back up. And even that, I'm looking at this going, maybe that's too many. But the thing is, I don't want that to contain all the old archive stuff. I don't want that to contain all of tax records and stuff like that. Because the thing, while my network is very secure and behind a very good firewall, it is still a network attached drive on my system. If some crypto thingy were to come in or some malware to come in, it could in theory sniff anything off of that drive. And so for me, there's nothing on that drive that is particularly that sensitive. That's why that one computer is dedicated to anything that is sensitive. So now you've identified your computer systems. How do you back things up? I personally like doing manual backups. However, getting some auto syncing probably would be pretty good. So let's start with the NAS because it is the easiest. So first, the best thing to use for your backups is just external hard drives. I generally use the Western Digital ones. They are just as good as the other brands, and they're a little bit cheaper. It's obviously a good name brand. This one is a 2 terabyte. 1 terabyte you can get for like 30, 40 bucks. 2 terabytes are only like 50 or so. So that's really the best thing to do. So the NAS is set up. So when I take these drives, and I have one of these specifically for the NAS, when I take these drives and I plug it into the NAS, it automatically rsyncs everything on the NAS to this. Okay, so all I need to do is plug it in. It says, hey, that backup drive of ours is here, and it just does its thing. It just goes in there, makes a full duplicate of the NAS. You can set that to just keep all the files. You can set it to completely sync, which means it will delete anything I've deleted. It will add anything I've added. So you can actually do that to the system. So that is actually the easiest one because it just means that I need to plug in the drive and then it's going to go ahead and sync itself up. All right. The other computers, I do those a little bit more manually. So the work computer, since there's never a ton of data on that, I actually have one big external drive, much bigger than this one. I have a big external drive for that system that I plug it in and then I take a copy of, basically we'll create a new copy in there or a new folder in there. It's like, hey, this is the date, this is the backup. And then I'm just going to go in there, I'm going to manually move anything over from, I move my Outlook file over, I move the everything on the desktop, I move everything in the documents over, and I really don't use anything else on that system. I think I have some music over there and things like that, but all of the music that's on that is already in the NAS and other places, so it's kind of a moot point. So that one is easily done on backup. And then the last computer, the backup computer, that actually gets done, again, the operating system's one. I could just clone the drive with CloneZilla. The other thing, though, the easiest thing is just, again, get another one of these and just manually back up. Now, you could I could probably pick up an extra 2 terabyte drive to do backups of the personal and the business on one drive. That's probably what I would end up doing because I'm still working exactly on mine. This 2 terabyte drive here is actually the backup for my videos. So technically I do have a third, which is all my video backup. And that might be too small. Maybe what I should just do is pick up another, another drive for, a bigger one for the video stuff. Although right now I only have about half a terabyte of videos in my catalog. So that's kind of how that works. All right. So with that being said, the next thing you want to do is you want to have duplicate drives. So I'm not going to have just one extra USB hard drive for the NAS. I'm going to have 2. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let me just check in on the comments real quick. So Carbon Programmer and Jasu Finn come in. How things going? Going great for me. Jasu says, great topic. People don't think about backups until they will be needed. Amen to that. Can ransomware really hit a Linux system? Yes. Yes. Yeah, I mean, ransomware can hit anything. In fact, it was spread by, Linux servers, so, not necessarily be hit. Now, most of the big ones, the WannaCries, these I can't remember if these actually impacted Linux as well, but here's the thing, Carbon. A lot of your new Linux distros are like, we support Windows programs, and they pre-install Wine. If you have Wine installed in your Linux box, absolutely a Windows virus will mess you up. So you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. But no, there's security vulnerabilities in any operating system. Linux is very secure, absolutely. But yeah, you can certainly get encrypted. You can get malware. There's issues you can have, so you got to be careful. So you said never let teenagers use a computer with a virus scan showing. Wait, no, let's see. Never let teenagers use your computer. Oh, yeah. Yes, so I was cleaning somebody's computer off, and they had something to the effect of like 89,000 computer viruses on it. I think it was an old Windows Vista or Windows 7 system, I forget. Oh, that was hilarious. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. This is what happens when you give your computer to your kids. So yeah, I do remember that. Yep. I keep a Clonezilla drive that's not more than a month out to back up home folder to external drives more often. There you go. See, and that's a good plan. All right, so now let's dive into why do you want the extra drives? Well, you want to have two drives. You want to have the working drive, like your main system, a main system, and then I want to take this drive, and suppose this is the one that goes on my NAS. I want to plug this into the NAS maybe once a month, maybe more frequently. It really depends. This is when I sell backup plans for people's websites. I kind of say it depends how frequently you update it. If you're a daily blogger, you better be doing updates, you know, at least once a month or once a week at a minimum, maybe more. If your website is a static website and you really don't get in there and update it, yeah, once a quarter is probably sufficient. But you don't want to never have any backups. So the NAS honestly doesn't get a lot of updates. If I get new CDs, and how many times do we buy new CDs? New sermons I get in a lot of new sermons, so that would justify it, although they're sitting up here in a pile and waiting to get to. So with that being said, you want to have two drives per each backup. One of them is going to be at probably no more than a monthly backup. The other is you're backing up the other one once a week. So here's what you do with that monthly drive. You're going to have an off-site location to secure them. This protects against a break-in, theft, or a fire or some other situation like that. So the best things, if you have a good friend that you trust, you can leave backup drives there, and you could encourage them to leave their backup drives at your house. That's one thing. Which honestly, if you're a little leery because it's a ton of personal files, you can literally take it, put it into a small $50 fireproof safe that they don't have the key to, and say, here's my fire safe with my stuff. Please keep this in a secure place in your house. That's one thing. Another probably maybe a better approach is a safety deposit box at a bank, which are really only, you know, $30 a year generally. So you get one of those, and then you take your drives, and then you just drop off the safety deposit box. Once a month, you go to the safety deposit box and you swap your drives. So you take the drive that was in the box, which is no more than a month old, you take that one home with you, and you take the ones that have been home with you, and you put those ones back in the safety deposit box. So then that safety deposit box is going to have last month's backups, which includes either once a month or once a week, or however frequently you're backing up your drives in your folders. Okay, so you have that function there as well. And that way your safety deposit box is a lot more secure. It needs two keys to open, your key and the banker's key to open. Very protected against break-ins, obviously. Very protected against thefts. And then what you'd actually probably want to do is you want to take your drives and you want to wrap them in aluminum foil. That's just going to protect them from any electromagnetic, anything else like that. I mean, because, you know, aluminum foil is a thing. So that's what you want to do is you want to identify your systems. Okay, so identify all your systems. And then you want to figure out how you're going to back those systems up, whether it's going to be a syncing script, manually copying. You're going to have a separate drive for each of those types of systems, and then you're going to share them with your basically make an extra copy of them. One of them is off-site, one of those is on-site. So that's kind of the best way to do your digital backup plan. Now, for me, what I'm thinking is looking at all the prices. I'll probably end up picking up one or two more of these 2 terabyte drives, because a 2 terabyte drive will carry all my personal backup files and all my business files, and I can have an extra copy of those on everything. So that's kind of the approach that you'd want to do. Now let's talk about cloud stuff, because cloud is one place where everyone wants your backups to be, and I don't want things in the cloud. I personally, if it's in the cloud, it's on somebody else's servers. That means somebody else could have access to it, etc. Now, I use a Nextcloud system, which is the most secure way to go. If you're going to do a cloud-based system for your backups, you either want to use your own Nextcloud install, or you want to look at, I think it's called SpiderOak, which is completely encrypted on your end. So you're storing everything there, but all of the encryption keys is on your end. They don't have any access to any of the data that is there. Now, it is a little bit more expensive, but that is a good strategy. As far as my NAS, I do actually keep a copy of the contacts up there. So my contacts are synced up there as well, just for simplicity's sake. But as far as files, I don't keep any backups in my cloud. The only thing I keep in my cloud is working documents. So any books I'm currently writing, those are stored in my cloud. Anything else that I need for quick access gets stored in the cloud, and anything that's just kind of on a computer that generally isn't backed up will get stored there, and then I'll move it over to the other places when I get the chance. So that's kind of the approach you want to take. And then do not be lazy on that offsite backup, because when your house burns down, but like me as a minimalist, I mean, this is the only room that really looks like someone lives in it. I got a lot of books and things, which insurance can replace those if I even want to replace them. Insurance will replace those, but the most important things most of us have these days is our files, the letters we've received, all that kind of stuff, and all those, they can be scanned into a computer. And if you have an ongoing running list of all those files, and you have them all at least once a month backed up on some other secure place, you will have a ton of peace of mind knowing that if there's some catastrophic loss in your house, you've only lost a month's worth of stuff. That's it. And so develop a good digital backup plan and then execute it. So today's task is actually executing the organization of some of this stuff on my end. So I might get out there today and get everything set up. And I have a decent digital backup strategy, but it still could be compromised. So I'm working on bulletproofing it and hardening it today. So that's what I'll be up to on my Saturday afternoon. All right, let's see. UK friendly stream. Yes, I try and do these ones a little bit earlier for the UK folk. Use duplicate to sync my essential documents to my own VPS. It encrypts everything and does incremental backups. Very handy. There you go. That's a good way to do it. A new piece of ransomware hits Windows Linux users just have to sit and watch the drama. Yep. Back my stuff to pCloud and the NAS. All right, very good. What is pCloud? I'm not familiar with pCloud. Let me look that one up. No. Not seen pCloud. There's another one, I think Cloudberry, I think is designed for that as well. They have constantly asked me to do reviews of their stuff. I'm like, I'm not really interested, so no thank you. But yeah, it looks like pCloud and is it Cloudberry or something? I forget. Or probably accessible. Sign up, get 20 gigabytes of free storage. Okay, so it's basically a cloud up in the sky. Let me just go over there. Oh, there it goes. I don't know anything about these guys, but feel free to check them out. They're called pCloud. And it looks like Alice, I'm guessing Alice, you'd probably recommend them, Alice. So there you go. There's a recommendation from Alice. I can't speak for it personally, but you can check it out. Good afternoon, Keegan. How's it going? Yeah, I put up the notification only like 30 minutes before the stream. When I used to be a Windows 7 user, tried to download a program that allowed me to change my login screen background and end up downloading malware with the program. Yep. That's why I never do anything goofy with that. Unless it's a registry hack I know how to do myself. Yeah. Same, I just noticed it on refresh. Yeah. In the past, I used Macrium Reflex on Windows. Now I use TimeShift on Manjaro. Okay. Now, does TimeShift, though? I didn't think TimeShift saved a copy of your personal files, though. I thought it was more like the Windows Windows Restore, where it just keeps a copy of the files. Is that incorrect, though? I don't know. I don't use TimeShift. Let me actually boot up TimeShift real quick. I think it should be on this computer. Maybe. TimeShift? Hey, TimeShift is on this computer. I really don't want it to do anything, but let me see if I can see what the settings are. I don't know. I'll have to look more into TimeShift. I don't know. I don't generally use stuff like that. I don't trust the automatic-y stuff because I've found automatic-y stuff that doesn't actually automatic-y as much as it should be automatic-y. Run from the GUI and have mine using sudo and from the terminal. Okay, I've been watching a weirdo tourist YouTube talk about all the great places in Gatlinburg that none of us locals ever go to. That is kind of funny, isn't it? I was an unsuspecting middle schooler at the time. Yep. Too trusting of the world on an internet. Yeah, and the internet, unfortunately, is just out to get you. The internet is out to kill you, people, by the way. Ever tried to put the malware in the recycling bin? It just recreated itself. Yep. Yep, it does. If you can't find it, I can link you to it. Works on everything. Even my brother told me putting it in the recycling bin will not fix the problem. I've been using them for a few weeks since I needed something that works on Arch, Android, and Windows. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if TimeShift takes your personal files. I was under the impression that TimeShift does not take your personal files, but I don't know. Malware, throw it in the trash. It will just crawl out of the trash and cause more trouble. Yes, it crawls out of the trash and then duplicates itself somewhere. Every time you throw it in the trash, it makes another copy. Some bug on KDE installing TimeShift makes it run without enough permissions from the GUI. There's a few things that KDE blocks from running root in the GUI. It's actually annoying. Installed Linux Mint 19 Cinnamon last time. My main desktop is a fresh install. Love it. Old laptop OS is flying. Linux Mint 19 XFCE 32-bit. Very cool. 19 is nice. Installed on my older non-production box. So far, Linux Mint 19 is very good. I think it's probably the best distro in terms of efficient CPU and RAM handling. Okay. Now we just got to figure out that whole issue with my host script. That's the one thing I got to take care of. TimeShift by default doesn't take your own files, but you can make it back up your home folder. Okay, thank you. All right, so yes, you can. I guess TimeShift would be a viable option then. Use Manjaro Cinnamon, not the KDE distro. Yeah, I think I did Manjaro Budgie was pretty good when I ran Manjaro. That was a sweet distro. I like that. All right. There is one news article I saw today. Let me see if I can find it, though. Okay. Back up. This will be worth the wait. Just bear with me while I find this article. Uh-oh. I gotta look other places for this. All right. Close that out, and then work, YouTube, work. Okay. Really? Where are your... So Front Page Tech reported on this. I'll just show you a brief snippet of his video, unless he actually has the article title in there that I can find it. There it is. Okay. Found the title. And this is from ABC News. Okay. So, we talk about privacy and security on this channel, so this is a neat one. So a few cameras, a few phones, the Oppo X, which is not going to be available in the United States, and the Vivo, which I think is, these are solving the bezel-less issue by having a camera that pops up out of the phone. And I said, hey, that's awesome, because I tape my cameras so that, you know, the thing's not turning on when I don't expect it to. So this camera here, anytime you call for the camera, it mechanically pops the camera up. Well, it turns out that these Vivo self-popping cameras are popping out all by itself. Now, some people are like, oh, well, this is just a little software bug, but other people look at this going, no, maybe this is just all of these apps utilizing the camera. And I said, this is a great application. Some users say it's a good thing. So, selfie camera on Vivo's next flagship is an extremely clever solution to the problem facing smartphone makers right now. If you make the screen as big as possible, where does the selfie camera go? Vivo's idea is to simply make it pop out of the top of the device, which makes the screen as big as possible. Let's be honest, that's kind of cool to see a camera emerge when it is needed. Right? Except some users in China have discovered it's also popping up when it's not needed, and it's creeping people out. One Weibo user posted a video showing the Vivo Next camera and is its hidden selfie camera when using the messaging app Telegram. The user wasn't taking a selfie. All they did was open the chat window and the camera emerged from the top before shrinking back down. Wait, here it goes. Telegram. Launch Telegram. It pops up, and then it's coming back down. All right, some people saw the same thing happening on Tencent's QQ browser. When clicking on the travel booking information on Ctrip, the selfie camera popped up briefly for half a second before the user was taken to the app. In this case, Tenet says that while QQ browser prompts the camera to emerge, it doesn't actually record anything. Yeah, it prompts the camera to emerge. Basically, this phone prompts for the camera to emerge when it's asked to take a photo. So in this case, Tenet says that while QQ browser prompts camera to emerge, it doesn't actually record anything. The company explained that it all has to do with Android's camera APIs. You see, why are you touching the camera API? That's a thought. Browser uses the camera for certain features like QR code scanning. Tenet says there are two APIs for camera access on Android, and the one it uses activates the camera briefly to get its information. And Vivo spokesperson says Vivo has made its technical team aware of the issue and will follow up with us. Nichens are baffled and a little freaked out by the camera popping out, but far from being an invasion of privacy, some are actually arguing that it's the opposite. It's helping users understand just when their smartphone cameras are being activated and why. That's quite a fascinating take. Of course, we need to be careful with these devices. Make sure you should tape things up just so that you're not being recorded when you don't need to be recorded, things like that. So what do you guys think about that one? All right, let's see. Yeah, I use KDE. I'm too lazy to fix it at the moment, and since I use Terminal a lot, it's not a big deal to look into. Yep. Remember watching Bredix09 video? He said a lot of teenagers Go on unreputable websites to get malware from downloading stuff. Yes, in my experience, actually, porn is not the worst place for malware. Actually, the worst place for malware in my experience has been coupons. This is cleaning people's computers up, not me going to different places for clarity. Coupon codes are the #1 source of malware. There's a lot of these applications that they just say, oh, install our toolbar, and it just basically turns your computer into a pup. The second is actually, in my experience, online games. I'm not sure where the porn fits in the mix, but another one that I've seen a lot is fonts. Make sure if you're downloading fonts, you are downloading them from reputable places. I pretty much use Font Squirrel or FontSpring. If I buy them, FontSpring. If I'm downloading them, Font Squirrel. If it's not available there. Also, you can download several fonts on Google Fonts as well, which is fairly safe also. Maybe not privacy safe, but security, it's safe. So there's a lot of different places with malware. So the best thing is just, just got to be careful where we go. But unfortunately, with the invasion of the internet ad, it's just getting worse and worse and worse, and because now the ads can push us things, and nobody audits the ads that they're put on there. They want to download a video or image, but the actual file ends up being exe. Yes, and this is actually why Windows has done a really bad thing by turning off the file extensions for known extension types, because people oftentimes don't realize that. And so what the scammers will do is, your cool document .docx.exe, but the .exe is hidden and your user doesn't know that. They look at it and they think it's a document file, they click it and they end up executing a program. So if you are using Windows, absolutely turn on file extensions for known file types. It is in, go to control panel of, it was called folder options. I think they changed the name of it. But it was called folder options. And then that gives you 3 tabs. Go to the middle tab, and it's about halfway down. It's a radio button. Hide extension types for known file types. Uncheck that so that you can see extension types. So if you are using Windows, do that, because you will be able to easily see, is it a .exe or is it truly a document file, etc. And even document files, by the way, unknown document files, don't open those either, because document files contain macros, and Windows runs macros by default for some reason. LibreOffice blocks them, but Office doesn't. All right, people keep dumping Timeshift. Really like it. It's a new feature. It'll take time to get used to. Well, I think though, some people have had a problem with it because it doesn't do nearly as good as Windows Restore does, because there is no back-end GUI to activate it if your system gets screwed up, and that's what it's there for. So you have to learn how to use it from a terminal in order to actually take advantage. For me, that's why I don't use it, because I can reinstall a Linux system faster than that, and as long as I have a copy of my home folder, I don't need anything else. Okay, remember how, as a middle schooler, I did really dumb things online? Yep. And the sad thing is nobody ever taught you otherwise. You had to learn it the hard way, and that's not the case. Shows how apps abuse permissions they don't need all the time on Android and iOS. Yep. That's why I have as minimal apps as I possibly can. Never trust some of your friends in middle school or high school with flash drive. Nope. When I was a professor, that bug was going around, which was spreading the an auto boot. I forget the name of it now, but it was I think it was like auto exec flash drive bug. Of course, everybody used flash drives back then. Oh Lord, it was a nightmare. Every day after lab, I'd have to go in and turn on 20 computers and scrub all the viruses off of them. Phone is in a protective case that blocks cameras. We need more protective cases that block cameras. Popping up cameras are actually good. They messed up a bit because it pops up when it's not needed, but if it's a good company actually decides to do this the right way, it's a cool thing. Yeah. And I argued on his channel, front page covered this, and people were saying the same thing about the Oppo X. Like, who would want a pop-up camera? I said, I want a pop-up camera. Because it's a whole lot better, because I can see when the camera is being used. So, hearing a story where some kid wanted to mess with his friend by downloading adult videos and putting them on his flash drive thinking it'd be funny. Ugh. Greetings, Pseudo Reboot. How are you? Alice. Let's see. Evening. Hello, LF. Fonts, never heard of font spreading malware. Yes. Huge, actually. Because people want it. It's not the fonts necessarily as much as it is the shady websites where you supposedly download fonts. But yes, tons of people I've known have gotten malware from fonts, downloading fonts. I think Manjaro is secure enough to be used as a production system. Yes, absolutely. I've used Manjaro for I think I've used it for about a month or so. Absolutely, Manjaro is secure. I would have no problem with that. Never heard of coupon spreading malware. Yes, that is huge. Coupon spreading malware is huge. Windows 10, you can click View File Manager at the top, the box on the right. Okay, good. Never thought gaming sites would spread malware or fix file extensions. Yep. Save file extensions, man. They save you. Uh-oh. The other day, my idiot friend was downloading Deadpool2.apk. Oh boy. Well, APK. Hold on a moment. I'm gonna give you guys the kitty cam if I can. All right. After that, somebody was at my door. All right. Okay. Certain image formats can run scripts as well. Microsoft Office can run macro scripts when you open them. Yes. Have to watch this from the start. I'm quite interested in a reasonable backup solution for Linux PCs. I set up for other people. Backups are something you need absolute confidence in. Yes. Yep, we covered the backup stuff earlier. To recap the backup stuff, if you came on late, number one, identify the systems that you need backed up. Number two, identify how you're going to back them up, whether you're going to do an automated script or manual backups. I personally prefer manual most cases. Number three is you want to have two sets of backups. One of those is your on-site backup. One of those is your off-site backup. Your on-site backup also stays network disconnected. Okay, network disconnected on this end. So that is, and then of course you keep your offline storage. I said either use a friend's house, which you could even do, put it in a locked safe in your friend's house that they don't have access to the locks if you're concerned about that, or just pick up a safety deposit box at a bank and then wrap your backup drives in aluminum foil just to protect them from any other static charge, electricity, anything else anywhere around. And then once a month you're going to go and you're just going to swap the drives that you have on your local backup versus your offsite backup. So then that way you constantly have a revolving cycle of backup drives going. So that's what I recommend for that. Okay, and I covered a lot more detail of that. And we talked briefly about cloud stuff as well. All right, I remember when I was in middle school, some dumb kid decided to use my computer to search up adult sites. Luckily, did not go to any sites or download any malware. Yeah. There's a simple solution. Make the camera pop up when user presses a physical button manually, just like iPhones have a physical button for silent mode. Yes, that would be a good plan too. Sometimes you cannot trust your classmates. That's correct. Video on YouTube shows a kid using viruses on school computers. That's scary. So most of you are saying is that Librem 5 phone that has a hardware kill switches is for most functions. Yes. The Librem 5 phone does have kill switches for most functions. APK is Android package format, could be a malware. Yep. It is sad that many people my age, even younger, have to learn the hard way. My parents did not teach me much when it came to tech. And that's the sad thing. we're relying on schools to teach them about tech, but all the schools teach them to do is fill out every form that pops up in front of them. That's a bad solution. Okay. APK sounds something like the Alpine Linux could use because Spline uses the PM package manager. It'd be a scam where people would leave USBs infected with Trojans, backdoors, and malwares on buses. People would think, hey, free USB drive, plug in their computer, and let the fun begin. Yeah, if you find one such computer, the only thing you can do with it safely is take it home, boot up Tails, plug it into Tails, wipe the thing, and then maybe you could use it. Gotta be really careful with that, or even a big thing is conferences handing out USB ports on conferences. That's another big thing. All right. I think parents should put parental controls on the router level so they can control internet traffic with more ease. No more configure each device they own. Yeah, well, that's what T-Mobile is trying to come up with, that solution. I'm not a big fan of their solution, but it certainly is better than nothing. But the reality is, though, is that most parents don't have the technical capabilities of knowing how to do that. Not that it's hard, it's just too lazy to care. Now, actually, I had a comment because something that I had said, I think it was on my video yesterday, where I'd said on one of my videos yesterday, I think, where it was about, you know, kids don't need smartphones and stuff like that. This person's like, oh, well, I gave my young teenagers cell phones and didn't put anything on there to block it because I trusted them. So you can trust them all you want, but that teenager's probably having fun at night with that phone. All right. And that's the reality of it. Even very good, very trustworthy kids, they are not immune to this type of stuff. They're not immune to the impulses and the desires we have. They're not immune to the malware and the push of it. They're not immune to seeing that. That was the end result of my Facebook experiment. Well, it doesn't have to. By simply rolling dice and selecting friends as dice. In fact, every single friend request Facebook suggested have this friend request was pushing porn. Every one of them. Don't sit here and tell me your young teenager's not watching porn because you trust them. You got to trust your kids. That's naive. That's naivety. Okay? I could go on for a while about that, but I've done that in other videos. All right, school kids these days are dumb. Basically, wannabe script kiddies fill flash drives with viruses and mess school computers up. Yeah. Don't forget the thumbs up. Thank you, Pseudo. Totally agree, Pseudo. Get those likes up to 30. Don't forget to subscribe. Yes, if you want to see more videos like this. So if you are new, if you jumped on here and you're new to this channel, I do a lot of Linux stuff. I also do a lot of things about tech, privacy, stuff like that. So that's kind of where my goal and focus is. Kids are often more tech savvy than parents. I disagree. I don't think kids are as I don't think any of them are tech savvy, because tech savvy means you know your way around a computer. Kids know their way around an app and a web browser, and that's about it. Like somebody said, script kiddies. A script kiddie is not tech savvy. A script kiddie just finds little things and pushes buttons. I know how to set up the home router, but the parents can't. There are websites that trap your browsers in endless window opening loops. You can't even shut down the browser because it hangs up. I manage the networks of my parents and some family members. Yep. Sometimes teens learn the hard way. Don't get me started on Facebook. Mark has his butt handed to him more times because of Facebook privacy issues than I can count. That is right. All right, well, we've been going on here for about an hour or so, so I think I'm going to go ahead and jump off. There's no cat in here, and I don't even have any kitty treats left in this room, so we will forego feeding of the kitty today. But we are gonna we should have an outdoor philosophy on the channel tomorrow, and then back to the regular schedule Monday. So we will catch you guys later. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you later on. Next live show should be, I think, Wednesday-ish. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. Have yourselves a good afternoon, and hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.